Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
Chairman of the Police Welfare Association says successful salary negotiation with the government was a highlight of the association in 2025. UN Security Council hears warnings over escalating U.S.-Venezuela standoff. And news from the international scene, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has given details of an updated peace plan offering Russia the potential withdrawal of Ukrainian troops. Details of the evening news right after this.
Wow, a new laptop.
Yep.
How much you pay?
Only $10. This Christmas, sign up for any home bundle or the Turbo 400 internet plan or higher and get a laptop or tablet for only $10. And there's more. You can win even more festive prizes with our Christmas Spin the Wheel. That's faster, more reliable internet with same upload and download speeds and fantastic rewards. Sign up in-store today or visit online at discoverflow.co for more info. We keep your Christmas rhythm flowing.
DBS News.
Welcome back to the DBS Evening News. Chairman of the Police Welfare Association, David Andrew Jr. says successful salary negotiation with government was a highlight for the association in 2025. Mr. Andrew says a 5% salary increase and another increase next year, plus a risk allowance were all negotiated this year.
I think we made some strides as it relates to salary negotiations. We received the 5% increase as promised by government, and we are expected to receive 3% by July 2026. We also received the $250 risk allowance for our members, and our members are quite satisfied. Also, we are happy that our work has recommenced at the St. Joseph police station. We always believe that it's better to have all the men housed in one station. You can be effective and coordinate your duties better. And we are also looking forward in the next year for the recommencing of the Casibus police station. Also, the PWA has also engaged the federation regionally. There's a few years that we have not been part of the federation, but this year we went to 2 of the meetings. The whole position we want to position ourselves is that we can have a greater regional response as it relates to the welfare, not only in Dominica, but the other member states. Even looking at what just happened in Jamaica, where we had Hurricane Melissa, which ravaged the country. The regional response committee was set up, and I am the one which will head the committee to provide that response to our members as it relates to the impact of natural disasters on our members.
And that's the chairman of the Police Welfare Association, David Andrew Jr. Other news this evening, manager of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell, says a payment system through the National Bank of Dominica will be introduced for Dominicans to make waste collection fee payment to the corporation in the new year. The new fee for waste collection is expected to come on stream in Dominica effective January 2026.
In the budget address, the Minister of Finance did make mention of consideration for a fee for waste management to be tabled to the House. But as of January, Solid Waste is seeking to make payment to Solid Waste for the services that we offer, made easy. So they're launching a payment system through the mobile banking platform for the National Bank for some of the services that we are presently offering. And we hope that the public who access the services of the corporation can remit the monies that is payable to the corporation through tipping or other means. We are also hoping that in 2026, that a more structured approach through the government system via a utility would be an approved method for a more sustainable waste management financing. And when we speak of waste financing, we speak of sustainable waste financing. It requires the end user like yourself and myself to contribute to upkeeping the system. And we have seen success in the Caribbean region, and we are hoping that the success that we're seeing in the region can be implemented in Dominica.
And that's the manager of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell. Fire Chief Wayne Later says 2025 was a year of transition, progress and resilience for the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Services. Speaking with DBS News, Fire Chief Later described 2025 as a year of mixed fortunes, marked by leadership change, operational challenges, and notable achievements within the fire service.
Yes, well, the year 2025 was, a challenging year for the fire and ambulance services, but I would say it was a year of mixed fortune. And I could say from the onset that in 2025 we started with a new fire chief at the helm, and that's me. And that is as a result of the former chief, Mr. Josiah Dupe, retiring from active service at the end of 2024. But all in all, the year was a mix, as I said earlier, it was a mixed fortune. So one of the highlights of the year, I can say early on in March, was the hosting of the inaugural conference for women in service. And this is something that was done by the Institute of Fire Engineers for the Caribbean and South America. And that inaugural conference was held in Dominica for women in service. And the women in service that we are talking about, it's fire service, police, the customs, army, Coast Guard, military within the Caribbean. So we had women from all over the Caribbean coming into Dominica for that conference in March of 2025. And it was very good, and from all recounts from the persons who attended, that conference was very well appreciated. They were really engaged, and they really got a better sense of what it is for women who are actually working in those services.
And that's the Fire Chief Wayne Later. He's praised the dedication of fire officers throughout the year, crediting them for maintaining service delivery under difficult circumstances.
I would want to, at this moment, thank all fire officers, because for the year 2025, our existence depended on them. Our product delivery, all that depended on them, and they have worked well. We want to tell them thank you very much for their endurance throughout the year. And one of the things that was said at one of the meetings, they see resilience in the fire officers, and we appreciate that a lot. We want to continue working together that we can develop the fire service and the nation on a whole. So at this time, let me say compliments of the season to all fire officers as we enjoy the end of the season, enjoy our family, and enjoy Dominica on a whole. Thank you very much also for citizens of Dominica who have cooperated with us throughout the year and give us support. The simple calls that they have been making into the different stations, that goes a long, long way. So we want to, as Dominicans, to keep strong with us and continue to support us as we continue to work for them and to bring better service delivery in the future.
Fire Chief Wayne Later. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the government of Dominica has sought confirmation from the United States authorities regarding compliance regulations about the island's citizenship by investment program.
On the question of compliance, the government of Dominica is confident that the far-reaching legislative and regulatory reforms enacted on 14 October 2025 directly address the issues referenced in the proclamation, including residency, due diligence, transparency, and enforcement. However, in the interest of partnership and clarity, the government has formally sought confirmation from U.S. authorities on whether these measures fully satisfy the conditions outlined and whether any additional actions are required. Dominica values its strong and long-standing relationship with the United States, including close cooperation in maritime security, law enforcement, and regional stability. We remain fully committed to cooperation, transparency, and shared security objectives. The government will continue its engagement with the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown and the State Department in Washington with the goal of resolving this matter constructively and reversing all restrictions affecting Dominican nationals. I assure the public that the government is acting decisively, responsibly, and in the best interests of Dominican citizens.
And that's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Other news: the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, has ranked 2025 as a better year compared to other years. Executive Director of the DAPD, Ernica Esprit, says the association was able to undertake many of its programs during the year.
2025 for DAPD has been relatively better than previous years because some of our programs, we were able to do some of our programs like our computer program for our members. We did that in early 2025, and we had 2 sessions of sign language classes for the public to bridge the gap between the communication. So we had 2 sessions of sign languages this year. We also had other programs for our members, which came out very well. We launched our $19 Day in September, and I must say that it has been good. The other thing is that yes, we had our annual general meeting. Yes, that went very well. We had that in June, and also we had we ended the year with our social for our members and appreciation ceremony for some individuals who assisted us voluntarily throughout 2025, and that went very well. We had that last week, Thursday. So, like I said, 2025 was relatively good, better than previous years.
Esprit highlighted the DAPD's Disability Enlightenment Week as another success story for the year 2025. The Disability Enlightenment Week ran from November 29 to December 7.
We started with our dinner in the dark, and for the week leading to the 7th, we had some media programs, we had school visits, we had visits to our members, some of our members who cannot make it to the office. We visited some of them and presented them with some a little goodie. And we ended our week of enlightenment in Playbush with our educational display and with church service and educational display, and also a collection of our 19th annual Dollar Day, and it went very, very, very well. We celebrated International Day of Persons with Disabilities on the 3rd of December, and that was incorporated in the week. So that week was a success for us, and we would like to thank everybody who has supported DAPD throughout its 42 years of existence, and especially 2025.
Executive Director of the DAPD, Ernica Esprit, and a local business has carried out its first Laundry of Love drive during the Christmas season, provided much needed support to several care institutions. Monel Alexis is the marketing consultant for the GBA Enterprises Limited.
The Laundry of Love drive was our way at GBA Enterprises Limited, giving back during the Christmas season in a practical and meaningful way. Care institutions have ongoing laundry needs, and access to quality detergents is essential to their daily operations. Through this initiative, we provided Perros brand laundry hampers to Chances, the Grotto Home, and the Infirmary. And we also extended a discount on Perros detergents for 2026. This enables us to support them now while helping them plan for the year ahead.
And that's Monel Alexis, the marketing consultant for the GBA Enterprises Limited. It is 16 minutes after 6 o'clock. You're in tune to the DBS Evening News. The news continues right after this.
This Christmas, Flow's making the season merrier when you add postpaid to internet. Unwrap a new smartphone for only $10. Plus, we're giving you 35% off your mobile bill and win even more goodies with our Spin the Wheel Christmas promotion. This Christmas, the rewards are on us. Add postpaid to your internet plan today in-store or visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, we keep your Christmas rhythm flowing.
DBS News.
UN Assistant Secretary General has said that U.S. military presence and operations off Venezuela's coast have expanded since the Council last discussed the issue in October, further highlighting tensions. The United States has described its expanded military deployment as part of what it calls a non-international armed conflict against drug cartels and trafficking. The Venezuelan government, including its permanent representative to the UN, has described the measures by the United States as a serious threat to international peace and security. That's news. The Sports Report right after this.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Let's begin the DBS Evening Sports Report with cricket news. Host of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Marshall St. Murray Hewitt, believes Dominica's Alec Athanaze did not do himself any favors with his performances in New Zealand. Alec Athanaze managed a top score of 45 in the series, but averaged just 14 in the 2 matches he played. St. Patrick Hewitt says Athanaze has not justified his recall to the team based on his performances in India and New Zealand.
Alec Athanaze, he batted 3 in the first test, got dropped, then came back and batted 5 in the third test. So in this series, Athanaze scored 4 and 5 in the first test, 45 and 2 in the third test. That means that Athanaze ended this series with an average of 14, right? For the year, his average was 18. 3 single-digit scores and a 45 just isn't cutting it. If you're a top-order batter, I'm sorry, that's just not cutting it. You, as a top-order batter, you cannot leave a test match series with an average of 14. You just can't. And bear in mind that Athanaze wasn't altogether that strong in India as well. And also bear in mind that there were a lot of people, and I want to remind people that I do have stocks in Alec Athanaze, but bear in mind, there was a lot of people that cussed out Sammy and said that Sammy should never have dropped Athanaze, Sammy should never have dropped Hodge, they should have been in the team. Don't think I've forgotten that, people. Now ask yourself this question, and Alex also got to do a lot of hard thinking here. Has Alec Athanaze justified being recalled back into the West Indies test side? And my argument would be no. You can't leave a series with an average of 14 and basically be seen as somebody who doesn't really make meaningful contributions.
And that's the host of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Marshall St. Patrick Hewitt. He says Athenaeus needs to step up or he could be dropped again from the team.
How long is the piece of rope before you say to a young player, actually, you've had a lot of chances and you're not really showing me that you deserve to be at the highest level? So Alex now played 17 test matches and his average is 24. Like, come on. And I know standard West Indian metrics, that's about what a West Indian player does nowadays, somewhere between 23 to 27. But that's not good enough, not if you're a top order bats. So now he's played 17 test matches, how much longer is Alec Athenaeus' rope before we say, actually, yeah, it's not good enough? Again, some of you will say, Mash, I'm being harsh. But someone like Alec, I think you have to be harsh on Alec Athenaeus. Like, we can all see the talent, right? But if you aren't fulfilling the talent, at some point we have to say, well, hold on a minute, what are you doing exactly? So we have to be harsh. He's got to raise his standards.
And that's the host of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Marshall St. Patrick Hewitt. More cricket news. Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Daring says Cricket West Indies is actively looking for the next available window to stage the Emerging Players Tournament. The tournament, which targets the up-and-coming players, was slated for January in Trinidad. Daring says the tournament has been shifted due to logistical issues.
Well, that is not going to be happening. It's going to be happening. It's just we have to find the right window. We were, quite frankly, trying to force fit it into January, but it just was not the right time. It's become an extremely chaotic calendar. And between the Under-19 World Cup and our own T20 World Cup in India in February and an Afghanistan tour, we decided it's just not the best window, even though that was the only kind of window immediately available. Try and play it later on down the year in a more appropriate time slot. When you're going to have more players available that you want to put through that ringer. It don't make sense to play it and waste resources with resources that you don't have to waste when you can deploy those resources elsewhere in preparation for an Under-19 World Cup, in preparation for a T20 World Cup, and so on.
And that's Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Daring. He says 2026 will be a challenging year for Cricket West Indies, with some changes coming to regional tournaments.
Well, we're going to make all the various announcements on the different regional competitions. This is a tough year for us. We've already said so. We're hosting Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and Pakistan on international tours. And if you're finances of West Indies cricket, we rely on those national tours to generate revenues that then fund everything else for the fiscal year. And of course, those tours are not money spinners. Those television markets are moribund, really, probably worse than the Caribbean. So we have to be very careful about how we spend the resources this fiscal year whilst we put in place things for the future.
And that's Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Officer Chris Daring. Let's stay with cricket news, because Cricket West Indies Director Dr. Donovan Bennett does not believe that firing Darren Sammy will lead to any significant change in the West Indies' fortunes. The West Indies are still winless in Test cricket since Darren Sammy took over in April. It's the worst run by any West Indies coach in nearly a decade, since Phil Simmons' 11-match winless streak from 2015 to 2016. However, Bennett, who is also Jamaica's Cricket Association president, said that removing Sammy would be pointless. He says Darren Sammy is not the problem. He says the problem is at the lower level, one at the franchises and two at the group level. Bennett believes a coaching change will make little difference due to the region's long-standing issues. Bennett says greater focus must be placed on youth programs in the region so as to start seeing success on the global stage. The Windies have won only 5 of the last 25 test matches, with the last coming away to Pakistan in a drawn 2-match series in January. The West Indies' next test series is scheduled to be in the summer of 2026, when Sri Lanka tours the region. England's captain Ben Stokes says the team has to lift their game if they are to avoid a series whitewash with Australia in the series. The two sides will meet in the Boxing Day Test match on Thursday night Caribbean time. England are trailing 3-0 in the 5-match series.
You know, we need to make sure that we come together and make sure the focus is still heavily on the cricket. That's where my focus definitely is most pointed towards. Because, as I said, after the last game, we still got a hell of a lot to play for. Very determined to leave Australia with, you know, something positive to look back on, and we've got an opportunity here with these 2 games coming up still to play that we can still sort of do that.
And that's the England captain, Ben Stokes. He says the criticism of the England performance so far is very tough.
When you're 3-0 down and you've lost the series, everything you say, everything you do gets, you know, scrutinised and bought into, you know, and rightly so. You don't really have a leg to stand on when you've lost 3 games in a huge series like this. So, yeah, look, when you're winning, everything's great. When you're losing, it's not. And as I've just said, you know, when you are 3-0 down, you don't really have a leg to stand on. But look, we've got 2 games of cricket left to play. That's where I see this at. You know, what other things can we have to focus on? You know, we haven't won a game in Australia here for a long, long time. So, yeah, there is still a lot to play for.
And that's the England captain, Ben Stokes. Well, England will be without Jofra Archer for the remainder of the series due to a side strain. He will be replaced by Gus Atkinson, while Jacob Bethel replaces Ollie Pope. Meantime, Australia's captain Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyons have been ruled out of the final 2 Ashes test matches against England. Lyon is facing surgery and an extended period on the sidelines. The quick bowler Richardson and the spinner Todd Murphy have been named as replacements. Cummins will now target full fitness for the month-long T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka starting early February 2026. That too is a look at the DBS Evening News and Sports. Let's just take time to wish you a Merry Christmas. Let's hope it will be a very good one for you. We wish all of Dominica very well as you go out to celebrate Christmas, Boxing Day, and the rest of the weekend. Do take care, and don't forget, we won't have a newscast tomorrow, Christmas Day. We will be back on Boxing Day morning at 7 o'clock with an early morning newscast. That will be the only one for the day. Boxing Day, 7 o'clock in the morning, the only one. Stay tuned to DBS, your favorite radio, Dominica's #1. Stay tuned all weekend as we bring you the best of programming here on DBS Radio. Well, on behalf of the News and Sports Department and our link person, Ivona John Baptist Luge, Curtis Matthew saying, do take care, do have a great weekend.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
29 minutes before 7. Stay tuned for the death announcements on the Community Bulletin Board. This evening we have 3 death announcements. We announce the death of Clement Elias Fingal, age 91, of Santa Roma. He died on Tuesday, 9th December. He was the husband of Betty Perry Fingal. He was the father of Cecil Fingal, Cecilia Fingal, Catherine, Brian, Cadman, and Lincoln Fingal. He will also be remembered by his son-in-law, Thomas, daughters-in-law, Judith Fingal and Hermina Revere Fingal. Sisters Maudlin Rock, Isaline Starks, Charlene and Karen Fingal. Brothers Kremlin, Roy, and Renison Fingal. Grandchildren Jamal Fingal, Jaden Fingal, Jade Schenker, Brianna Fingal, Brandon Fingal, Dean Colon, and Tobias Fingal. Nieces and nephews Irma Fingal Rock, Anthea Rock, La Rock, Marie-Louise Rock, Cedric Rock, Brian Rock, Eden Rock, Ghana Fingal, Peter Fingal, Cora Ann Fingal, Derek Robinson, Don Elwin Goldenkranz, Joanne Robinson Silas, Eve Robinson, Gemma Lawrence, John Poppy Fingal, Simone Fingal, Ashil Williams, Wendy Williams, Garrick Williams, Vance Williams, Ian Williams, Pamela Stacks O'Hare, and Paul Stacks, and numerous other great nieces and nephews. Close friends including Telford Shillingford, Jerome Lloyd, Conrad McIntyre, Jerry Brisbane, Edward Morancy, Francis Philip, Don James, Moya Roger, Henry Shillingford, Hilarion Elwin, Margot Larrock, Michael LeBlanc, Vanessa Winston and family, Fiona Winston Sales, Angela Butler and the Butler family, the Isidore, Maglaw, and Bruni families, names too numerous to mention. The body of the late Clement Elias Fingal of Santa Roma will be transported from Linus Funeral Home for viewing from 9:30 a.m. on Monday, 29th December at Our Lady of Fairhaven Cathedral. The funeral mass will take place at 10 a.m. and will be followed by interment at the Roseau Catholic Cemetery. We announce the death of Cornell Joseph, age 51, of Boetica, who resided in Roseau. He died on Tuesday, 25th November. He was the father of Chanel Joseph Frederick. He will also be remembered by his grandchildren, Caden, Kaiser, and Caleb Frederick, 8 sisters, Alberta Sorrendo, Rosemary Thomas, and Magdalene Joseph in Dominica, Kathleen Joseph and Lorena Christopher in the United States, Marilyn Simon and Veron Joseph in Antigua, and Jacqueline Barry in St. Martin. One brother, Jackie Joseph, 12 nieces, Tricia, Debbie, Tamisha, Marissa, Abigail, Shanice, Shania, Nikisha, Vernice, Clarissa, Juliet, and Eunice. 12 nephews, Aaron, Daryl, Kevin, Alpha, Michael, Mervyn, Antonius, Alvin,